Now moving onward to the topic 3, where we will have two distinguished speakers, Dr. Rohit Rathore, Deputy Controller of Patents and Designs. He is in charge of PCT-RO. He will be taking the session on role of the Indian Patent Office as PCT Receiving Office RO. I would like to request Dr. Rohit Rathore, Deputy Controller of Patents and Design, PCT-RO in charge, to come on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. So you might be waiting for lunch, but there is work pending. So early in the morning, Roberto has filed an application, and that application is pending with us. That is ROIN, because I think he has selected Receiving Office India. So before going to lunch, let us proceed with that application. Transmit that application to IB. Then we will be finished with PCT, and after lunch we can talk about trademark. So Indian Patent Office act as a receiving office. So I will be talking about what is the duties which Receiving Office ROIN is doing, and how we are helping you out, how we are facilitating applicants to file PCT application. So since morning we are talking about that PCT is the global gateway. You are filing one application and you can enter into 158 countries. So that means by filing one application you can enter one of the 58 countries. So it's a journey of one application towards 158 nations. There are I think around 20 plus receiving offices which are processing your applications worldwide. So there are 20 ways, you can say 20 channels which you can use to enter these nations. One of the channel is ROIN, and as ROIN we are transmitting your applications to IB. So if you see broadly, there are three things which we are doing. Gatekeeping, in the sense at the check, we are the first checkpoint for your international application. We are checking the formalities of your applications. As Roberto might have mentioned that until unless we provide you or we validate your international filing date, your application can't move forward. Okay. So as a gatekeeper, we are checking those formalities. Then as a validator, we are checking the technical issues related to your application. We are making sure, we are trying to help you out, and we are making sure that your application moves without any defect, so you don't find any problem while you're entering in the national phases later on. And third, then we are transmitting your application along with the fees to IB and to ISA. So mode of filing, you must be knowing by now that there are two modes of filing. You can file through ePCT or through paper filing is also there. As far as paper filing is there, you can file your application based on your jurisdiction to any of the 4 patent offices, but we will always advise to go for ePCT. Roberto has already discussed what are the advantages of ePCT. I will just simply add on, ePCT will help you to process your application fast. Along with that, there are a lot of fee reductions and are available when you are filing through ePCT. So as far as India is concerned, in year 2024, 99.9% applications were filed through ePCT. Only 1-2 applications are there which were filed through paper mode. Then we have 2 types of modes, PDF mode or docx mode, which I am hearing refer as XML mode. I am talking about this format because this is the 5th seminar which we are doing, and I am also facing, I have listened to a lot of queries of the people. There is the first question, how to reduce fees? International filing fees is very high. Sir, we want to reduce the fees. People are asking WIPO also. So this is the primary way you can reduce your fees. XML format provides you fee reduction of almost $100 over the PDF format. I will talk about it later on. So by changing the format from PDF to docx, which will later on be converted to XML, you can reduce the fees directly by $100 for a single application. Okay, so this is a facility which is provided within the international filing system, and you may use that particular facility. Then first thing, what we do, there are 2 conditions which we primarily check, that you are national or resident of India. That means you can be national of another country, but if you are residing in India, you can file through ROIN. That is the primary condition. Then second condition that we will check as your first checkpoint is that your application should be filed in English or Hindi. No other language we are accepting. Suppose you are, okay, I will start with the filing process. You can file your application with the priority date. That means you have already filed your application in India, then you are going for IB. Other way around is that you have not filed your application anywhere, you directly want to go to IB. So you can either select ROIB directly and your application will be processed by ROIB channel, not by ROIN. But suppose if you are going through ROIN, then the question arises if there is any requirement of taking any sort of permission. Yes, it is required. If you are filing direct, then for foreign filing permission, you need a permission from our office, Section 39 of Patent Act. Those who are working in the patent field, they must be knowing about Form 25 is there. So on the date of filing of your PCT international application, you need to have with you permission from our office to file the PCT international application if you are filing direct. Okay. Second question arises, sir, we are not filing direct, we are taking the priority of our application. Still we need the permission? Yes, still you need the permission if you are filing your application within 6 weeks from the filing in India. But if you are filing after 6 weeks, then there is no requirement of that permission from our office. So if you can hold your application for 6 weeks, please hold it. That may help you again in fee reduction because you don't have to pay any fees for Form 25. Okay. So what is the reason behind this restriction behind this permission? There are certain subject matter which may be prejudiced to national security. So there can be significant national security implications with reference to the subject matter if it is processed. So basically we review that application, and that is the reason that Form 25 is there. Suppose you have not, suppose you have filed after 6 weeks, and when we are reviewing your application, we found that your application appears to fall within that category, that is under defense category. Then again we may communicate your application to the Ministry of Defense, and thereafter, until unless we get permission from Ministry of Defense to process your application, we will not process. Now the question in this scenario arises whether you will lose your international filing date. No, you will not lose your international filing date. Your application will be transmitted late, but everything as far as timelines are concerned, dates are concerned, will remain same. Okay. So now comes the second part. You got your international filing date. Now what we are going to check, this is to, we check basically Article 11 requirements. So these are that an indication that is intended as an international application. Basically it means that RO 101 should be filed. Then there is need to be designation of one contracting state. When I say designation, there are 158 countries. You can have a selective designation. By default, you are selecting 158 countries only. Then name of the applicant or other formalities need to be met as prescribed in the PCT rules. As this particular formal part is concerned, ePCT will help you because it is parallelly validating your application with this requirement of these formats. Okay. So thereafter we have you have description and claims. So we cross check whether there is a description is there or claims is there or not. Now suppose you have already filed the description. There is an initial validation by ePCT module also. So what we check, we read your description, we go through your description, because many times what is happening, these are the common defects which we are receiving. Many times pages are repeated, sometimes pages are missing, sometimes black pages are there. While uploading the document, there may be some mistake. So sometimes title is missing, sometimes claims are incomplete. So we cross-check those things and we communicate these requirements to you as PCT form RO 106. Okay, we notify you, you will receive this particular form in your ePCT module. I just want to clarify here, whatever the communications you will getting from the ROIN, you need to cross-check in your ePCT module. We will not be sending emails to you with reference to all these requirements. We will simply communicating your form which will be available to you in your ePCT module. Thereafter, there is some compliance time in which you need to give a reply. Suppose you have written in RO 101 that you have filed 20 claims, but in the in the claims pages only 10 claims are there. So your 10 claims are missing. So you need to file your amended claims at the earliest in this particular scenario, because we are going to calculate fees accordingly. Because suppose you have uploaded 2 pages in which 10 claims are there, and after having 20 claims, page will become 4. So along with the subject matter, what is changing here is the fees also. So you need to comply with this particular requirement at the earliest, because international filing fees need to be paid within 1 month from the filing of your international application. Okay. So in that scenario, you need to pay, you need to give reply at the earliest. There are certain other requirements. For example, declaration of inventorship is not there, or some mistake in general is there. For example, title is missing. That you can comply after 1 month also, but before publication, because whatever you are filing is going to be published. So you need to keep in mind that all the bibliographic data should be correct, because once it's published, it's very difficult to get it changed. Then you have to get those amendments done in national phase, which may prove costly, because for every nation you need to make those amendments. Now another aspect is fee management. there's a question that why I should choose ROIN, not ROIB or some other RO. This is one of the reasons that you should choose ROIN because we are not reducing the fees, of course. The fees will remain same as other ROs. But what we will be doing, we will be calculating your fees, and you need to pay fees in rupees only. If you see the international filing fees, it's in dollars, okay? It's in US dollars. So whenever you are filing through other ROs or through ROIB, you need to pay fees in US dollars. But when you are filing through ROIN, what we will do, we will calculate your fees in rupees. Along with, of course, we are include exchange rate on whatever the rates, nominal rates need to be added upon. So what you are doing simply an EFT to a bank account, which is an official bank account, and we will transmit your fees in US dollar to the IB. So that exchange thing will not be there, and it's a simplified process where you are simply transmitting particular amount of rupees to the RO. So this is one of the reason that it is an easy way out as far as fee transfer is concerned. Now here I will again touch upon that point. This is the fees for you. Here you can see this is the fees for 234 is the fees for XML format, that is docx format, and 351 is the fees for PDF format. So you yourself can see there is a difference of more than $100. Okay, so this is how you can reduce your fees by changing the way in which you are filing your EPCT application, and this is a legal way, of course. Okay, so another thing is that another important feature which I like about PCT fees is that here you can see from 1st April they are going to reduce the fees, and this month is March, and this is already declared in February. So you already know that fees is going to be reduced. So if 12 months timeline is still there for you, so you can always delay your application and file in April. But of course you need to see the timeline. Okay. So you should not hurry. Suppose if you can see this, that there is going to be reduction, and this fees kept changing every month, maybe even after 10 days, but there is always notification from WIPO. So before filing your application, you can always cross-check PCT fees through Google or WIPO website and see if there is a possibility of reduction. It may increase also. If it's increased, you may file at the earliest. So this is about the international fees. Now coming back, what we do, we will calculate your fees. We will collect the fees for you, then transfer it to IB. Thereafter, there are 3 components of fees. Another point why you should choose ROIN, this transmittal fees is 0. When you are filing through EPCT, electronic filing, India does not charge any transmittal fees, so that component is 0 when you are filing through India. Search fees, of course, you know that for when you are choosing ISIN, there is reduction of fees for education institution, small entities, and then startup. But there is a condition that you need to meet because we are facing a lot of problems in that. When you are filing for education institution or a startup, you need to provide the evidence. Evidence in terms of a startup certificate when you are filing a startup. And as for a small entity, you need to provide Udyam registration certificate, not Udyam Aadhaar card sort of thing. Udyam Aadhaar card is not required. Udyam registration certificate is required, and that is again for current financial year. Suppose you are filing on 2nd April 2025, then you need to give that certificate for 25-26, not 24-25 certificate will not be valid, because there is a probability that in next financial or by the next financial year, your small entity status might have been upgraded to large entity status. So we cross-checked it, and that's why we ask for the current financial status. Okay, and it is always updated on the 1st April. You can see it on the website. We are also verifying on the same website. So please keep in mind that you provide that evidence along with your international application if you want to have use that reduction. International filing fees I have already discussed. So we will calculate your fees and we will notify you. There are 2 ways of notification. First is through EPCT, where we will generate RO 102, wherein fees will be given in US dollar. But parallelly, we will send you a mail wherein you will get the fees in rupees, and you will get the way how you can pay that fees to the Indian Patent Office. Then suppose you forget to pay the fees or there is some problem, what will be done? We will impose late fine. We here doesn't mean ROIN, it's the PCT rule, we will pay late fine. So we always advise, please at least file fees before a day before, not 1 hour before the filing of the last date. Because many times I got calls or messages at night, ki, sir, today is last day at 12 p.m. My application time will be over, but gateway is not working, this and that. So can I file? Yes, tomorrow. Yes, you can surely file tomorrow, but some additional fees will be charged. What is the amount of that late fine fee? That late fine fee is usually 50% of the total unpaid fees. Okay, or usually it is 50% of the international filing fees, because that is the maximum limit which RO can charge. So your fees will be, you have to pay extra fees. That means original fees plus 50% fine on that. So please file your fees at the earliest, at least 1 day before the last date. This I have already discussed. Now comes the search fees for ISIN. This I have already discussed that for a startup natural person education institution, the fees is very less. Now, third, last aspect which we check is priority verification. Here I just want to clarify, there is a provision of restoration of priority, right? Since morning we are talking that you need to file your fees, file your application within 12 months. Suppose you fail to file your application within 12 months, then what to do? ROIN can't help you in this matter because in India, we don't allow restoration of priority right. When I say restoration of right of priority, there are certain ROs, including IB, which provide you 2 months extra. That means within 14 months, you can file your PCT international application. But there is a point here that while processing your application, in that case, because ROIN is not going to process, other RO or IB may process that applications, but they see whether there is a due diligence is there, and there are certain requirements which need to be met if they are going to allow this delay. So it is always advisable to file within 12 months, but of course there is an option of restoration of priority right, which ROIN doesn't allow. So ROIN is not helpful in that matter. But again, a piece of advice there, if you are entering in the national phase, you need to keep in mind that only those countries who are allowing this restoration will acknowledge your delay in priority in their national phase. Suppose ROIN is not allowing restoration, so while entering in national phase, we will not allow your that delayed priority entry. Okay, so that need to be kept in mind. So please file your application within 12 months, not a single day after 12 months when you are processing through ROIN. Suppose it's not in your hand, now what to do? You can request ROIN. We want our application to be converted to ROIB from ROIN. We will transmit your application. We will facilitate in that way. We will send your application to the concerned RO where such type of facilities allowed. And thereafter, in the panel also somebody has discussed about that India is transmitting certified copies of priority documents free of cost through DAS module. This is known as DAS code. But condition is that you need to file that request, or you need to say that I want to transmit my certified priority document through DAS module. There is no fees. You can directly file this request in our IPO e-filing module, entry number 49. Once you made this request, we will send your certified copy to IB, and you will get a DAS code. It's just like an OTP, and that OTP need to be communicated to the IB. So once you communicate your DAS code to IB, they will retrieve that document from the database. Okay. So it's a free service that ROIN is right now provided. There is no fees. You have to simply refer to that query. You have to simply file a request that I want to transmit my priority document through DAS module. So after meeting all these formal requirements, we will forward your international application to IB and a search copy to International Searching Authority. If it is India, we will transmit to India. If it is some other country, we will transmit that search copy to that concerned country. And as far as India is concerned, 99.6% of PCT applications filed in ROIN were transmitted within 4 weeks. It's a standard timeline that within 4 weeks we need to transmit your copy. This is some general data. Here you can see that in year 2023, this is the data of 23 because 2024 data yet not released. It was 1,221 applications were filed in ROIN. I just want to update you, in 2024, we received around more than 90% of this, which is going to be around 2,400 applications. And that shows the trust which you have on ROIN, because this is the very high rise as far as ROIN filing is concerned. So this is the trend for 2024. Here you can see that lot more applications were filed in 2024. I have not given the exact figure because there are certain restrictions, and after a particular time limit only we can release that data, but it's more or less around 2,400. So this is all about ROIN. Thank you.